Joining me today, Mr. Paul Taylor, 2013 Trainer of the Year, owner, operator, trainer. You better be the trainer of Brickhouse Gym, because I tell you one thing, you never like to see an owner of a gym who doesn't train at his own gym, right, Paul?
That would be blasphemy.
Blasphemy is the understatement. I've seen so many people that work in a gym that should be training at their own gym.
I agree. I try to not fall into that demographic.
Well, certainly with the physique I saw you a couple of weeks back and the videos that you've posted working out in the backyard of the King Edward location, you certainly have kept your physique up to snuff, considering how busy you've become, also becoming a future dad. Paul, congratulations on that. I know that's going to be coming up in the days coming. Joining us today on Amateur Sports TV, like I said, the 2013 Trainer of the Year. Paul, how has the gym been so far since you've opened up? What are some of the guidelines you've been able to operate with, and how have the members started to be coming in more frequently?
Yeah, so after the whole COVID shutdown, we implemented a lot of strategies to make sure that we're able to maintain the physical distancing. So we've cut our capacity in half. We're also limiting people currently to 75-minute blocks of time that they can come in that are pre-scheduled. So they phone in ahead of time and they book those times. And then in between each block, we clear everybody out of the building. We sanitize all our main contact points, make sure everything's up to snuff, and then we let the next group in. We temporarily suspended our 24/7 access just so there's a better accountability for whoever's in the gym and making sure we're on top of things. And our members have been really receptive to it. And as restrictions start to lower, we'll probably start to get back to some of the regular scheduled stuff, but at the same time being ever so diligent to make sure that we're helping, do our part to keep from having another spike in COVID cases.
Absolutely. No, I'm sure the members are ecstatic that the gym has been able to open up. Location on King Edward off Route 90. The second location is down in Osborne, still correct?
Yeah, 418 Gertrude Avenue. So a stone's throw from Confusion Corner.
Stone's throw. Is that your arm or my arm?
I think we could both hit it.
We both hit it? Okay.
I feel like we could.
I think I could toss. At least I could crush a 9-iron that far. I think I'd be okay. I know the location fairly well. Tell me, Paul, you started lifting at a young age. You have a passion for it. How important is it to keep with a certain regime, knowing what your body needs and how your body also needs to rest and repair at the same time?
I want to say there's exactly what your personal thresholds are. That being said, those are ever changing, and as your goals in the gym morph and change and sometimes twist, those thresholds will change again. So it's always very important, especially when you're young and you are an amateur athlete or a more novice athlete. It's great to seek out advice from a professional, somebody who can steer you in the right direction. Again, even working with them, there's going to be trial and error, but they're going to see some of the things that you might not have the experience necessary to see ahead of time to keep you from overtraining or injuring yourself and moving.
So, Paul, saying that you're listening to your body, is that like an understatement? Is that a cliche? Or is it something you really have to respect, saying, there's a routine, and following that routine has got to be pretty specific?
Routine is king. Intensity and volume and duration, all of those things can change over time depending on your goals and where your mind is at the time, your body's at, your personal life is at, your diet is at. But routine would be number one. I would sooner see somebody training, somewhat modestly but consistently versus someone training ultra intensely but super sporadically. I think that there's a place for intensity. I think it's important to train intensely, but I would sooner see somebody just getting in the gym and putting some genuine work in versus selling their soul every single workout. So in terms of knowing your body and listening to your body, you're depending on the body and depending on the mind controlling that body, it might complain a little more than it needs to. So we have to be honest with ourselves as well, that when we're listening to our body, we're genuinely paying close attention to what's going on, so that we're not talking ourselves out of anything that we probably should be doing, and we're not convincing ourselves to overreach beyond our current capacity. So it's a very fine line, and that's why it does help to have somebody in your corner that knows you a little more intimately, that can help you create a proper barometer for where your fitness is at any given day, week, month, or year.
You're tiptoeing that fine line, Paul, by saying you don't want to let you listen to yourself being complacent, but at the same time, nobody can turn green, Bruce Banner-like, and become the Hulk right away.
I think that it is a long game, and patience is a virtue. I think that if you do everything with genuine intention, you will reach your goals. But everybody's different. We're all very unique. I'm an advocate of training very hard. I like to train hard. I like to build up sweat equity. I feel that when you go to the gym and you put in a workout, it's more like a payment on a high interest credit card versus a deposit in your savings account.
Yeah.
And some days you're in there just making minimum payments, and sometimes you're paying down on the balance. And that's a metaphor I like to use, because as you kind of grow into life, you realize that it's quite relevant.
Yeah, I like that metaphor. I'm going to steal that one from you. brickhousegym.ca. You talk about everybody's different, and your trainers are all different. They're all very well specialized, all very well educated, a breadth of resources found there at the gym. Everybody goes to a gym for a different reason, but the common goal is to make themselves more healthy and creating a better routine. You, like you said, sweat equity. I don't go there for fun. I don't go there to show off. I'm going to the gym. If I'm going to the gym, it's the workout. iPod in, don't bug me. I'm focused. 75 minutes, you said right now. That's a good window of time to get a good, proper workout in, correct?
You can do a lot in 75 minutes, definitely. You can do a lot or you can do a little. I mean, you're in control of that. So, but 75 minutes is, if you fully commit to that 75 minutes, you're not going to need it all. That's for sure.
No.
No.
How long do your workouts normally last, Paul?
My workouts?
Yeah.
I like to train.
The sweat equity Paul Taylor Trainer of the Year workout lasts blank long.
If I am being honest, I like to train 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. And if I'm getting ready for something, I'll probably do 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I'll probably do an additional maybe 40-minute to an hour workout separate from that, with some different goals in mind. If I'm getting ready for something, and I'm not getting ready for anything right now, other than, like you said,
you're not getting in. No, so we'll get to that later on. Are you more of when you were growing up, were you more of an Arnie Schwarzenegger follower, the guy that does more lifting versus more cardio? Where do you see the balance between cardio and lifting? I mean, I have my theory and my philosophy behind it. What's yours?
I think that you can get a pretty decent cardiovascular effect through other forms of training. Like I'm not a big fan personally of getting on a treadmill for 40 minutes of steady state cardio. I'm not saying that that's bad. Some people really like that, and they can, it's a form of meditation for them. I like a little more intensity. I prefer peaks and valleys in my cardio. So if I'm doing something that my intention is cardio, I'm gonna maybe do boxing as an example. I'll hit a heavy bag and I'll work within rounds of 3 to 5 minutes with 1 minute of rest.
Yeah.
And I'll do anywhere from 5 to 10 of those. I'm a big fan of supersets and calisthenics and active rest type approaches. So, maybe you're doing pull-ups as an example. You do 10 pull-ups and then you skip for 1 minute and 30 seconds in between. So it's that active rest where you're regaining your strength to do the pull-ups, but at the same time you're keeping your heart rate elevated and keeping things interesting. I like things to be interesting and engaging. I don't like it to be too monotonous, because that's just something about me. Some people like the same thing in and out every day, and they see great results with that. But I think variety is the spice of life, and I don't want to marry myself specifically to one modality of training and say that that's the only gym or training identity that I have. I think that's kind of short-sighted, and life is ideally too long to, you know, handcuff yourself to just one specific way of training. I'd rather, like I said, try all the different fruits and flavors.
You're not training for something right now, Paul, but we do have something on the go. August the 2nd, mark your calendar, the 3rd annual Manitoba Classic Strongman Competition. This is local talent, not so distant talent, competing for the ultimate of ultimate strongman competitions here in Manitoba. Tell us a little about this and how Brickhouse Gym got involved and now having its 3rd one in succession.
Well, I've always been a fan of strongman. When I was a kid, I remember watching, you know, the John Paul Sigmundsons and
I was Magnus for Magnuson.
Bill Kazmaier, all those guys. More recent years, guys like Sedrunas Savickas.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays you've got Hathor Bjornsson, you've got Brian Shaw, you've got Eddie Hall. So strongman's a very entertaining sport to watch. It's very brutal to compete in, and it's a true test of one's grit, strength, stamina, fortitude, you know, mental strength. It's just it's nasty stuff. It's friendly to the spectators. When you watch powerlifting, you can see some very impressive lifting going on, but you're never quite, you can't always quantify it if you're not super immersed in it. Whereas when you see a guy picking up a car or a massive Atlas stone, you know, you can relate to that right away, because chances are you have one parked in your driveway, or you've run into a giant rock in a field that wouldn't budge even if you tried. So I think it's a great sport. It's very hard. It's not for the faint of heart, but it didn't have a consistent presence in Manitoba in recent years. There'd be the odd show here and there, but nothing consistent enough that athletes could train year round and actually pick a date, you know, 12 months out or 24 months out or 36 months out or 6 months out, where they can say, this is the show that I'm going to do, and then really commit themselves to it. So I felt that Brickhouse needed to step in and fill that void, just so that the athletes have that consistency, something that they can bank on, something that can develop some prestige over time. And now we're officially our event is officially sanctioned, so it acts as the provincials for Manitoba, so people can go on and compete in national competitions and things like that. So I think it's important to have those different levels as well when you get into a sport like strongman, because like I said, it is very challenging, and if you don't know where you're going, it's very hard to stay on that path.
So give us some details of the competition. How many events? How do you register? Is registration closed? How do you watch it? Give us some details on that.
Yeah, so registration is still open for a bit, and we might extend that window a little bit longer, even, just because, you know, sometimes people have cold feet for a little while, but then they warm up and then they jump in. They can register by going to our website, brickhousegym.ca, and you click on the register link, and then there is a little icon for the event. You click on that, and then your forms and everything are set up right there. In terms of, sorry, what was your other question? Where is it
going to be held at? Is it the King Edward location?
Yeah, so it's going to be at the King Edward location. As long as the weather is nice, which it has been the last 2 years, we're going to be doing the entirety of the competition out back behind the building. There's lots of space. Right now we're limited to 100 people period for outdoor gatherings, as far as I know. So if that still remains the status quo by the time we get to the competition, once we've had all our athletes register and our officials, we'll open it up to limited spectators to make up the difference. And if they allow us even more, then we'll see what happens. It's 5 events. Everybody gets one shot at each event. So, you know, there's a lot of warm-up that goes into it, but the amount of time that you're actually in each event competing is, 60 seconds to 90 seconds of pure hell. Pardon my French.
So you've got the Atlas. You've got what are we lifting here? What type of things are we lifting?
So let me think here. This year, our first event is a 3-piece medley. There's going to be a yoke carry, followed by a farmer's walk, where it's like 2 massive implements in either hand, and then a back drag with something very heavy and awkward.
So I'm done after event 3rd. I'm done after the 3rd event. I'm done.
Yeah, like that first event is really 3 events all jammed into
one.
So that's a real tough way to start the day. After that, I believe we have log press. So we've got our metal logs that will be lifting from the floor and up overhead, as many reps as you can do in a minute. And we've got some pretty daunting weights to wrestle with. And then our 3rd event, I believe, is the deadlift. I might be getting my order wrong here. I apologize, but we've got the deadlift. So we'll be using axle bars. So the bar will be this thick. So it's very hard to get a sturdy grip on. It's very awkward to lift. And again, that'll be for reps for time with a predetermined weight. That's going to be, again, pretty gross. And then we've got a loading medley. So it'll be a series of sandbags and heavy kegs that you have to pick them up. And I want to say run, but let's say waddle as fast as you can, tip them over a yoke, run back, grab the next one. People with the best times are going to win that event. So that's a less about strength and more about speed and stamina, that event. Although they are very heavy implements. So when I say it's not about strength, I'm speaking in relative terms. Because you have to be strong enough to pick them up in the first place.
Yep.
And then what else we have? That's 4 events. What's our last one? Oh yes, tire flips. So we got some.
Oh my! Why can't we start with tire flips?
Yeah, I know. We're finishing with tire flips. So we got West End Tire is graciously donating us some massive tires to work with, and again, it's going to be maximum flips in a allotted amount of time, and we got some pretty big tires. So peeling those things off the ground is no easy feat.
They're going to be point systems, like top person gets X amount of points, and then second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, it's a point system. So the less points, the better, basically.
Gotcha.
And, and then we got some great prizes. We've got some sponsors on board. Popeye's Supplements Winnipeg is a big sponsor of all our events. Hooters Winnipeg is going to be providing food for our athletes and some extra stuff for spectators and whatnot. We've got Magnum Nutraceuticals, our supplement company sponsor, Black Rifle Coffee to keep us highly caffeinated.
Nice.
Who else is on board? I already mentioned West End Tire. They're going to be helping us out. And then we've still got some opportunity for other sponsors if they want to jump in. Clear Spring Ice is going to be keeping everybody cooled off. The first year they brought us a 5-ton truck to do a truck pull. That turned out to be a brutal event for the parking lot that we have behind the gym. So probably won't do that one again until we have some real fresh asphalt down. But so they'll be helping us out. So
it sounds good. I mean, you got a full event August 2nd. Find it at brickhousegym.ca. Click the register button. Paul, want to thank you very much for joining us. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic event. Look forward to seeing some results and obviously seeing you on your Facebook page and whatnot in the upcoming weeks ahead. You'll update us there. Paul Taylor, 2013 Train of the Year, doing great work and getting this Manitoba Classic in its 3rd year in succession. I want to thank him very much for joining us. This has been Amateur Sports TV, the sports show on Amateur Sports TV. Thanks, Paul, for joining us, and we will see him in training August 2nd. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.